So, empty nest syndrome, are you going through it and you're finding it to be the hardest thing you've ever been through in your life? And you're that person who has been through some things, but this is just a different level. And that's who I'm talking to, if that's you. And we're not gonna sugarcoat this. We're not gonna talk on a level here that is gonna advise you to go out and do some new hobbies and all the type of advice that you're probably already getting that isn't speaking to you. We are gonna talk about the depths of grief and despair that you are going through right now that is overwhelming, but most importantly, we're gonna talk about the light at the end of the tunnel, and that there is the light at the end of the tunnel. And when you come out the other end, which you will, you're going to come out a different person. And the reason why you can't see that right now is because you don't know that person yet. And I'm going to go through the things that nobody laid out for me when I was going through this. And it's been 7 years ago for me now. And go through with you the things that nobody really went through with me, because when I was going through empty nest syndrome, the people that were in my life, IRL, in real life, were my age and that, we're in the same boat type of thing, would tell me, it's time for you to do what you want to do. It's time for you to be you. It's time for you to have your life for yourself and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know how. I thought, I don't know how to do what I want to do. And even more than that, I don't want that. I don't want to just live life for me. I thought that was pointless. And the only thing I know is that, living for someone else that needs me and doing what they have to do, what I need to do, that they are okay and that they're surviving and that they have their needs. And if I'm not needed and if no one needs me, what am I here for? Was the way I was feeling and thinking about this. And to start asking myself what I want, I didn't even know how to do that. Now, fast forward 7 years, I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to save that for the end, where that's taking me to now. But I'm going to start with us right now, where we're at. First of all, I'm going to go back, and this video is going to be a little bit long, but I think if you follow me through, I'll have some little different, deeper insights than what you might be getting. And I'm hoping there's something here for you. So first of all, I go back and think, where does this start, right? And you might say, well, it started when your kids all left the house. But I think it started when we first got pregnant. And I think it was a part of human nature, the way a mom was designed, that when you got pregnant, your whole everything switched to the other person. This person you cared for more than you do yourself, and loved with everything you had. And your intention was more about that they were okay than anything else. And I think that was done by design. And don't pay attention to my hands. They look dirty, but they're dyed because one of my hobbies is tie-dyeing. That'll rub off eventually. So we switched gears to the other person, which I don't. Sometimes the world will tell you that's not right, but I think it's human nature, and I think there's a reason for it, and I think it's the way we were designed. So we spent all these years in that mindset and in that heart space. And when my last child left the house, my oldest was 30. So I had been in this mom revolving my heart around kids for 30 years. And that was also my entire adult life, which a lot of people, that's the way it is. And this isn't just another transition. This is probably the hugest transition that you've ever had in your life, going from something that you've always revolved around your entire adult life, to now. What am I now? Who am I now? What am I here for now? So I wrote down my points because I want to go. There's going to be 5 different layers to this healing, and I want to make sure I hit every one of those, because if you follow me through, you'll see how this takes you through from where you are now, step by step, gradually giving you something to step out of this. So since no one that I knew was relating or understanding, I went on online support groups, which you probably have or will or do, and you get the advice, the typical advice: start new hobbies, go out with friends, join groups, connect with your relationship, plan a vacation, go, I don't know, all that type of thing. None of that was doing anything for me. So let me go through that a little bit, that list of stuff a little bit. For me, the hobby thing I was good with, because I already do a lot of hobbies and crafts, because that's what I do. That's what I love to do. But as far as the relationship, I don't have a relationship. As far as career, put yourself into your career. I didn't have a career. I was living on disability, on SSI with a disability. Basically my home and family was my life. And to go out and join social events, social groups, go out with your friends, things like that. Okay, here's the thing with that. If that's not working for you, at this point with me, I was 50 years old, and I now consider myself to be undiagnosed autistic, and the social connections never did spark with me. There was just it never flowed. I never intuitively felt it. I'm comfortable more on my own type of thing, and you're kind of told all your life that to be sociable and to go do social things is a healthier way to be, and I've realized that every time I've ever done that or tried to do that, that was a me trying to be a me that's not true to myself. That was a me trying to follow what people are telling me I'm supposed to be. So at this point now, emptiness, when I was going through this, 50 years old, I was done and over trying to be anything that anybody told me that I should be that didn't feel right to me. I was at the point where whatever I am, however I'm going to do what I am, it has to be me. What is truly me from inside myself. Nothing that anybody is telling me. So that's where I was with that at that point. And even the online support groups it still wasn't, I wasn't feeling that I was being related to there. So what I found was I went into a single parent support group. That was a different atmosphere. It was a different vibe. It was a different, all the posts were understanding what I was feeling and going through. And I'm not saying if you're not single, you're still going through a grief and a transition, and it's hard. There are different aspects to it. There are different dynamics to it. When you were single and you were a single parent, this was all on your shoulders. Everything and every decision that you made, you had to make it yourself for your children. And you had to take every bit of mental, emotional, and physical energy and strength that you had to survive so that they could survive. And there was nothing else left. There was no one else to ask. And now at the end of that, you're at this point where everything that took everything you had to do is now gone. And also in my case, my youngest child had troubles and had a lot of challenges, and it was a lot. It was a lot to get him through. And then you're at the end of that road, and here you are. So let's talk about the healing. Where do we start with this? Because you feel it a loss, and even just being at the house and knowing nobody's coming home, going to the grocery store and there's no one to take something home. There's no one to even think about what does somebody else want, and it's a strange feeling. So the healing process, okay. So this is where I started. This is basically a kind of an outline map that I kind of came up with through this that got me through it. So split yourself. Now you're two people. Okay, and this is probably mostly you that are in this distinct situation I'm talking about. At this level of devastation, you're two people. You are the supportive person that you're used to being there for that other person. You're that other person that's going through the hardest thing in your life. You're two people, and you're going to start talking to that other person, whether it's talking out loud, talking in your mind, whatever. If you're around other people, I wouldn't be talking out loud. But what you're going to do is start thinking about every decision that you have every day, and thinking of it as a choice, because everything's a choice. I don't care if you're sitting on your couch watching TV all day, that's a choice. You're choosing to do that, or you're choosing to do whatever it is you're choosing to do. So what do you want to do today? And if you're like me, you know, and you have limits to what you can do. You have maybe limited income. You maybe have a disability, things like that. I live in a rural area. There's not a lot going on around here, but that doesn't matter. Just don't put any of that in your mind. Don't think any of that. Think of what you can do. And I don't care if it's something as simple as I can sit on my couch or I can sit outside. If it's something like, what am I going to have for dinner? Do I want to, so I'm going to start talking to myself. Do you want to, what do you want to do for dinner? What do you want to have for dinner? What sounds good to you? And what you're doing is look for that. Look into your heart and feel your feeling. And look for something that just gives you a little spark of, yes, a little excitement. And when I say excitement, it's probably not going to be you're jumping up and down screaming. It's just going to be a feeling. And it's going to be, yeah, that's what I like type of feeling. And it could be, you know, do you feel like having a lazy night? Do you feel like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and watching a movie? Or you feel like maybe going out and grabbing something to eat? Or do you got a grill? Do you like to put your hamburger on the grill? Or do you want to go to a grocery store and get all your favorite ingredients for your favorite meal? And ask yourself these things. And be encouraging to yourself. And now be your other self and be as positive as you can be in response. And choose out of all your choices that yourself just gave yourself. And yeah, I think I am feeling I'm feeling this good stir fry tonight. That my favorite thing, or my lasagna, or whatever. I'm gonna do that for myself tonight. Or yeah, I'm feeling like having a lazy night. Let's do a bologna sandwich and a movie. And what kind of movie do you want to watch? And don't watch a sad, depressing movie. Just FYI there. Something uplifting, something that'll make you laugh, you know. And because the last thing you need is something more disparaging going into your mind. So, choosing your choices. And what about popcorn? I know you like popcorn and butter on it. And how about we make some popcorn? And yeah, and choosing your choices. And earlier in the day, do you want to go out and take a walk? I know you like the park and it's a nice sunny day out. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Let's go out and take a walk, And go into your closet and, well, what do you want to wear? I'm a person that loves clothes and loves colors. So, and be intentional about that. Picking out, doesn't matter that you don't have anybody around, doesn't matter that you're doing this for yourself. Well, what do you want to wear? And going through and making those choices and knowing that they are choices. And where this is going to go on a deeper level is, this isn't just about you talking to you. This is about you getting to know yourself, yes, but it's about something else. What this is where you feel the feelings within your heart. That's the divine spark that is within you. That is your higher self. And that is, every time, that's you connecting and making connections to your higher self. And that is you bringing in your divine connection. And you're doing that for every choice of every day. And you're choosing your day, you're creating your day, you're choosing your moment. All the little things. And if you have more options and more things available to you than what I'm talking about, which was in my case, maybe you are that extroverted person. Maybe you do have a little bit of financial room to spare. Maybe you could put bigger things in that circle. This is a circle. This is what are all my choices. Maybe there's a trip in there, or in me, I'm limited on my driving and my transportation. So those things aren't in my circle. But whatever is in your circle, when I say your circle, there's a circle and there's all your choices that are in there. Whatever is in there is all what's for you to be in there, because you're you and that's for you. It's in there because it's for you. So going on down here. And the other thing that's doing is it's bringing in the knowing that I am choosing. My life is a choice. My day is a choice. My moment is a choice. My clothing is a choice. I have choices. So that's number one. Number two, this is probably the biggest star in this whole thing, because right now you're doing pretty much everything that you're already doing anyway. What I'm telling you, you're getting dressed, you're having dinner, you're watching a movie, whatever you're doing. But I'm just asking you to think it and feel it a little differently through the process. Now, number two, this is key, star by it, underline, bold, everything. If you don't do anything else, this is probably the most important thing. Whatever you are doing is perfect for you. Whatever is in your option of choices is for you. That is for a reason. There is a higher plan. There is a higher design. Your life path is on that design, and there are reasons for everything. So, no comparisons allowed. No, my sister has this, my best friend does that, my person I used to know does this and I don't, and this person has money and they can go here and there and I don't, and that person has transportation and they can do this, which I can't, and so-and-so's kids are over there taking care of them, or spending time with them and mine aren't, and my relationships with my kids aren't as good as blah blah blah. And every comparison thought is absolutely not allowed. Anytime that thought, any comparison comes in, you let that go and replace that with the everything that is for me is for a reason, for me is in the plan, for me, my life is for me exactly the way it is, and acceptance of that. Resistance, that's letting go of resistance, because being in resistance of what we're living in, that's stuck. Resistance equals being stuck, and the stuck can last for a long, long time. The acceptance is the flow. Acceptance and flowing through it. And acceptance doesn't mean I'm never going to do anything about this and everything's going to be exactly the way it is and I don't like it, but I'm going to accept it. That's not acceptance. That's still resistance. Acceptance is looking at this situation and asking it what's here for me? What's in this for me? Not why is this happening to me, but this is happening for me for a reason. This is put into my life plan, and looking at the situation and asking it, what's here for me? And there's always something. And I do this with everything. No matter what it is that happens in life, even when I had cancer, what is here for me? Why? And asking that situation, what are you here to show me? And then listening, paying attention, watching, and getting those answers. Because what happens is, this is just a thing. This is just a tunnel that you're working through. And when you come out that light at the end of that tunnel, all these things that you went through were part of that. And now is a part of your different level of understanding. And that's what you're working through right now. So this is just right for me. And everything happens for a reason. And what is here in this for me? And acceptance, whatever it is just right for me. And it's not for bad. It's never for bad. No, God's not punishing you. No, your karma wasn't bad in your past life and it's out to get you. And the universe doesn't have it out for you. It's never bad. It might feel hard at the time, but the outcome is for the good. The acceptance of what it is always 100% has to be for the good. And looking for that and what is that? Now, that's number 2. Now this is number 3. I felt like I didn't have a family anymore. I just kept getting this feeling I don't have a family anymore. And at this point also, being 50 years old and never living alone before. And getting this feeling that I'm in a boat by myself. And with really not enough income to be in that situation. And not feeling like I have the resources I need to be in that situation. And I am in this boat by myself. And I do not have a family. So basically trusting in every moment that whatever the need is going to come through at the moment. I had to get into that place that everything's okay and everything's going to be okay no matter what. I'm sitting here looking around and being in that moment and looking around and getting out of that mindset of all the coulds and everything that could happen, and looking around, well, what's going on at this moment? Well, I'm sitting here in my house and I'm okay. Everything's fine. It's how is it right now? How is it right at this moment? So, so your family that I felt like I didn't have a family for a while, because it's a lot different when you have people in and out of the house all the time that need you every day, and now you don't. And it was like, that's a void, So at some point, I told myself that I do still have a family. I am still a mom. And this is what I'm going to tell you right now. You are still a mom. And it is important, no matter now, that yes, your role has changed, but it is hugely important. You are here for a reason. You are the mom and you are the heart of the family. no matter what relationships are, you are the central common thing that your kids have. You brought them into the world, and if you do absolutely nothing else for the rest of your life but sit there with your heart beating in your chest, exuding the love that you have with your mind, with your heart, with your words, with your prayers for your kids, that's the most powerful thing that there is on earth. And if you don't even talk to your kids, just sending that intention has more power than what you think. Yes, you are important. Yes, you still are a mom. Now, I will say that if there are relationship issues, there's time. You never know. Things unfold over time. But what you're doing right now is for you to do right now. And it doesn't mean that nothing's ever going to change or happen through that. I feel like when kids get older, because my kids are 27, 32, and 36. And I feel like when they get older, they see things in different ways. And I feel like I don't put them in grown-up world until they're at least 30. And maybe even if they have kids and they've raised their kids for a while and their kids are getting into their teenage years, and over time in life, people mature and see things in different ways. But however it is, like I said, right now is right now. And it's acceptance of how it is right now and what's in it for me right now. And the other thing with that is a lot of people at this time, you have guilt or regret, because whatever you didn't do, you can never go back and do it again now. And the thing is, letting that go, really. Letting that go, because what good is that doing? It's not doing you any good. It's not doing anybody any good. You're aware you weren't a perfect parent, and you know how I'm telling you that? Because no one was a perfect parent. Your parents weren't a perfect parent. Your kids aren't going to be a perfect parent. No parent was a perfect parent, because we're learning as we're doing it. And I heard this quote. I'm gonna pass on to you guys. Forgive yourself for the things that you did that you didn't know that only time could teach you. Forgive yourself for the things you did that only time could teach you. And let that go. Just say that out loud. If you have to say that every time it comes up, I let this go. I give it over. And if you have spiritual beliefs, give it over to your spiritual higher powers. And if you give it over to the universe, just see yourself giving it, handing it, see a bag, handing it off. However you need to do it, let it go. Let it go out of your body, because these things, these negative emotions do hold into our body, and you feel that in different places in your body. And saying, well, I say every day, I let go of any negative emotions that have ever been stored in my body in general. So that's bringing me up to number 5. That the thing with this is, and this is the last point, but then after I tell you this, I'm going to tell you where I am after I've come through this 7 years later. This is your healing journey. This is no one else's healing journey. And I know I had people come in that were in support groups saying, I did this, and I have all the answers, and it took me blah, blah, blah amount of time, and if you're dragging your feet, that's just your own fault, because you need to chop, snap out of it, and you're not doing this right. Well, you can't do that. You can't compare yourself to anybody else's journey, because you're going through what you're going through. This is different for every person. You're grieving and they're grieving. Everybody that is going through empty nest syndrome is grieving. But for you, and I heard this quote, and I never forgot it, and I will never forget it, because I felt that like it was so profound. She said that, and I think this was this was on an online support group. She said, you're grieving the loss of what you never had. And that's not necessarily true for everybody, but you're grieving the loss of what you never had. Now think about that. How deep does that go? Go back to when you were a child. And did you come from a broken home? Because I found out that a lot of the people that are in this real depths of despair with this have some trauma. And did you come from a broken home? And as a child, you always think you're going to grow up and do the other thing. You're going to do what you didn't have when you were a child. And then you grew up, and then you were the single parent, and you never had the family that you envisioned. Now you're at the end of that road, and you did the best you could through all the mistakes, and there's never going to be a time that you're going to go back and redo it. This is your life. This is what you have. You're grieving the loss of something you never had. And this can go back. This can be generational. I mean, this can go back before you were even. This can go deep into your ancestral wounds. So for you to be grieving in that way, nobody can tell you how long that's going to take, is what I'm getting at. So, and nobody knows what you've been through during that process either. When I was going through this, a year, in between 1 to 2 years into it, I got cancer. I got diagnosed with cancer. And I always hear people say when everybody gets cancer, it's right after something extremely stressful, traumatizing. And at the same time, my youngest son got diagnosed with macular degeneration. That's the same condition I was diagnosed with at the age of 27, which is top leading cause of blindness in this country. He was only 22. I couldn't go be with him. I had to be here and do cancer doctor treatment stuff. And I felt another part of my big heartache was I felt that the place he was in wasn't in a good place. Now, if your kids have left the house and they're in a good place and they're on about their life and they're thriving, that's a different thing. I was doing my own grieving for my loss, but I was also heartbroken for him being in the situation he was in that wasn't the best. And then this came along. Me, cancer, him, macular degeneration, him not having people around him to support him or help him care for this, me not being able to go there. It was another level of that. And it was during COVID. I had COVID twice at home by myself. There were times that I had absolutely zero transportation at all. I could walk. I had a bicycle. There was a lot. So what someone else is telling you that you need to chop and get your way through, they don't know what this is for you. And however long it takes you, that's how long it takes you. Just like grief. How long it takes you, that's how long it takes you. But the things I'm laying out for you here, I think can help you. I think can give you a step to go through. And so, 7 years later, I can say now, which I could not say 7 years ago, I could not say that I know how to make a life for myself, that I know how to do what I want to do, that I even want to do what I want to do. I can say all those things now. And I do create a life for myself now. And everything is a passion. The things that I love to do, that is what my life and my days consist of. One passion and one creative outlet that I love to do, that I can still do with the visual capacity I have, is tie-dye. I run a tie-dye page, and that's one of them. Two years ago, I decided to do a whole project in my yard, and I call it the cross between permaculture and the way nature intended things to grow. And the stuff I'm talking about is almost low to zero cost stuff. And I still live on my own on a low income, but I'm taking steps for that too. I've been able to get my massage therapy license, and I'm in training for hypnotherapy, because I've used hypnotherapy with a lifelong journey of depression and healing from that. I've used hypnotherapy on my own, just at home by myself for over 20 years, and that's a passion of mine. The power of the mind. And I'm in professional training to add that to my healing practice. And I take my plants that I grow, I make tinctures and medicines and herbal blends, and I take them. I am an advocate for alternative health, alternative healing, alternative mental health care. I use these things instead of mainstream medicine, for the most part, for myself. Almost 100% for myself now. When I had cancer, I chose not to take chemo and radiation, which I was told that I had to have. That was another healing journey. That's for another video. I did find a group that I joined that I didn't really find this group. It kind of came out of nowhere, and we kind of created it. And we serve meals to people who are in some pretty bad situations. Some of them dealing with addiction, homelessness, things like that. My son deals with a lot of things like that. So this is my heart. To me, to join a group, because a lot of people are going to tell you to join a group. To me, just to join groups, just to be around people, like I said, I'm an introverted person, and being around people is not the thing that sparks me and charges me. If you're an extroverted person, just joining a group for the human interaction might be the thing that does. But to me, it had to be a deeper heartfelt thing that I wanted to do, and I do love being with the people that do this with me, and being with the same intent that we all have. So that came along for me, and the things will come along for you, because when you speak to the universe and you speak that, you speak your intentions, and you let go everything, no shoulds, no comparisons, all your things will start to come into place, and it will be a process. And the longer you go into the process, the quicker your manifestation things will come, and the things that spark your idea. And basically making a deal, if your income is lower, that you say that everything that I ever need comes to me. I have everything I need. And knowing that, and knowing that it will come. It's like for one example, one of the things that I have always wanted to do is pottery with a pottery wheel, because I did this in high school. And to buy a kiln, man, those things are extremely expensive. And I just made the statement one day, please send me the means to do pottery and the pottery wheel and the kiln. And it was like 3 days later, I happened to be working and giving up my time for a charity fundraising event it was a rummage sale, and it was raising money for the group that I was telling you about. And that is a part of it, giving of yourself, and putting your intentions and your thoughts on other people, that helps. So while doing that, the random person that I was working with that day come just out of nowhere, said, I have a kiln at my house. You know, nobody has a kiln where I'm at. I mean, I'm in rural Indiana. There's nothing but small towns, poverty, and cornfields. And who has a kiln, you know? So I'm working with this, and she says, yeah, I'll take $50 for it. Well, these things cost thousands of dollars. So those types of things will happen, can happen, and you can do everything that you want to do, and you can have everything that you want to have. And just like the things I put in the ground in my yard, it can cost next to nothing. Like, I might find somebody that's at the farmer's market that's giving plants away for free. Or sometimes I stop mowing for a while and see what grows, and medicinal plants just appear. And maybe you don't even have a yard. But if you don't have a yard, don't compare that and don't think about that. Don't think about what you don't have. Think about what you do have. And I don't care if that is just the breath in your chest and the heart beating in your body. Think about what you have and magnify on what you do have. And over time, those things will start to magnify. And you guys comment and let me know where you're at. How long you been down this journey, and how are you coming through it? And are you seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? Are you in that despair state? Or you know, where you at? What's going on? And what do you see? What do you see coming for you?